We're going to talk about a ton of things today. So we're live on YouTube and we're live in the Aquatic Lounge on Facebook. Yeah. So it's going to be a little something bouncing back and forth. We're going to try it. We're going to see how well it does right now, but the goal is to maximize the coverage of what we're trying to do in terms of the whole hobby. Electric Water, Aishin Patel, Efron, Matt Webster. So if you can hear me and everything is kosher, I want you to hit the like button and on both. Hit the thumbs up, because the funny part is YouTube is competing with Facebook Live and Facebook Live is competing with YouTube. So it's kind of the same thing in a sense. But this just, people are confused. This just seems to break everything down for us. We can get the information across on the Aquatic Lounge, and we get the information to those that don't really have Facebook and don't really care, and they want it on YouTube. IFG, what's going on? Josh Cunningham, Frankie Kenneth, Stuart, what's up, my friend? Dave Bloom, Dylan. Folks, it's going to be awesome. I think this is going to be something pretty cool. Alvin Seha, I'm not sure who does this, if they do simulcasts at the same time, but I legit have two devices rocking, and the Crowning Coke is back in the flesh. So, before we get started, let me catch you up. Fisher Frontosa, Daniel Wilson, Butch Livingston, Carlos Ramirez, Kent Strayer. What's up, everybody? All right, so here's the deal. Tonight, we do this every Sunday, permitting schedule, at 8 Central Time. Ran into some stuff, so here we are. But I wanted to catch you up on the fish room real quick. Everything's going to plan. The A-Round Nature Tank is simply doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, and it looks amazing. However, it's still got a sort of haze to it, so I need to change out the pinkies. It's been in there since I cycled. And then you can't see it. Holla! What's going on, Filthy Phil? The Tropheus Goby tank with the Wilson's Ridge background is simply amazing. Big Joe, what's going on, my friend? Tyler Wallace, Keith Bosworth. The Tropheus and Goby are simply loving it, and I'm telling you, it could not be better. This tank has gotten so much clearer, and I'm going to be doing a video on YouTube that talks about me utilizing a product from the moment we started, adding all 30 fish at one time, and not having one issue. Aiden Pierce, what's up, buddy? Cichlid Addict. Okay, so today I want to talk about trends. I want to talk about trends in the fish hobby, but more or less the African cichlid hobby, because as you know, I am an African cichlid guy. That's what I keep. Eventually, I will get to keeping other fish. That may be for my son's tank or whatever the case is, but eventually, I'm having trouble on Facebook if you didn't notice, but eventually I will have other fish in this house, but right now it's African cichlids, and I really wanted to talk to you about the trends that you're going to see in the African cichlid hobby, and I want to talk to you about running a business and balancing friendships. That's an extremely hard one to do, and I think I'm going to do a pretty good job at covering that. And then I wanted to talk about just the state of the hobby in terms of the fish and what we need to do if we want this hobby to continue doing what it's doing for years and years to come, what we have to do to kind of rebalance it out. Fish keeping is the #1 kept pet in the world, I believe by millions. But the difference is fish keeping is very volatile. And I say that lightly, and then I'm going to jump back to trends where we initially started. The big thing is there is wild caught, there's tank raised, there's farm raised, there's garage invented. There is so many different things when it comes to keeping fish, and a lot more attention towards African cichlids. But we have to do a better job of taking care of these fish and keeping these strains alive, because eventually lakes will go away, collection points will stop, countries will stop allowing certain things, and these fish, which some have already started, go away. They vanish. So, Aiden, what's going on, my friend? Kevin Green, Mr. Honey to you, Corey Robinson, Jim Bass. So let's talk about trends. And I want you to weigh in on this, but my recommendation is Don't be a freaking tit about it, all right, man? This is going to be completely different than my normal YouTube videos for the YouTube folks out there. So there's a lot of voices, some Crown and Coke, and some having fun. Mike D, what's up? So here's the deal. Trends are within anything, so to speak, right? You've got sneaker trends, you've got motorcycle car trends, Motor Trend magazine, you've got sporting trends, streetwear trends, places that people want to live are trendy. The way people want to act is trendy. But I wanted to talk to you about trends in the fish keeping hobby because it's a little bit more complex than what we see in anything else. And I'll bring this to light. And if any one of you fits this bill, it is not an attack at you. It's simply creating a symbol of what I'm talking about. Hipsters. You know, the tighter jeans, the cool glasses, the long beards, and the flannels, and hunting tacos in the wild. This is a serious thing. Like, people dedicate their lives to be that way. Eventually, that will dissipate and go away. It's the same thing as the super gnarly ICP Insane Clown Posse dudes that I remember back in high school. And ultimately, they evolved out of it. I don't know what it is, but that's what happens. Same thing with cars. Classic cars are big, and they will remain big throughout life, but you'll notice Ford, Chevy, Toyota, vehicle manufacturers get so much marketing pull that things change on a dime. Believe me, they change on a dime, and if you don't, then just do a little bit of market research. The same thing goes with fish. Now, I'm talking mainly about African cichlids. Ben Cheek, what's up? But I'm also going to kind of think about this, relate it to other fish. So in the African cichlid hobby, you've got stuff like IFG's awesome Hap Nation type thing. He is doing an amazing job at what he is doing. And he is just having fun. And he can attest that that is exactly what he's doing. Somebody just mentioned on YouTube Hammer Pants. Hammer Pants were huge. That was like a big thing. And they did NFL stuff. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. You can see how trends, majority of trends everywhere else just kind of to the wayside. And that's kind of what I want to highlight in fish keeping. I noticed IFG started his Hap Nation, and he enjoys haps. He's had Frontosa. He's kept Mbuna, I believe. He's kept peacocks. And IFG just really, really, really likes what he's doing. And he is able to create awareness for what is he's doing. And I didn't talk to IFG before I said this, and IFG and I are friends. But what he's doing is not a trend. Somebody just commented on YouTube and said, following a trend is not knowing what you're doing. That's not necessarily the case. The thing in fish keeping hobby, you've got Lake Tanganyika, Lake Malawi, and the Victoria Basin. Everybody says, well, how come the Victorian Basin doesn't get love like Lake Malawi? Well, there's many more species in Lake Malawi that are more colorful and more attractive. And so therefore, when things initially are started, more people go after what is pleasing and attractive to them. Until you start figuring out your way of life, whether it's keeping Tanganyikans, Tropheus, and Goby, or moving your tank to a predator tank, or shifting your whole A-Round nature to Shelly's. It's something I wanted to do. I don't care who does it. I am simply pushing the boundaries of what I am trying to achieve. But where social media, YouTube included, live videos, showing off stuff, sending photos, talking in certain groups, you'll find that when you move in certain directions, it's highlighted. Doesn't mean it's trendy. There becomes pockets of these people. I can tell you right now, if we gathered everyone that kept fish, somebody will always keep something different. Haps are not a trend. Predator haps are not a trend. They're not a marketing ploy to sell more fish, because predator haps in the wild develop, and I'm going to say this and hear me out, they have developed over time of evolution of this fish a predatory instinct. They're not opportunistic eaters. They hunt. They are preying on these other fish that are much smaller than them, and they have characteristics that they have developed to do so. They don't just go, small fish, I think I'll have a little snack for this evening. That's not the way these predators are working. If you've ever watched a Malawi hawk, the Christie eye, it will flutter and size up its prey. It'll bend, it'll sit on top, it'll float, it'll swim backwards, upside down. It does these things because it's developed assassin-like characteristics to kill its food, therefore becoming the predator. Okay? Therefore becoming the predator. Now, other fish may have predatory instincts, but they have not developed in a sense where their main means of food is non-opportunistic eating. They go and they drive for, well, not drive, they swim for their fish that they want to consume, or their crustacean, or their whatever they're eating in the wild. That's what they're going after. Does that make any sense? Is sense being made on this? Well, which I hope it is. So, some Venustus bury in the sand sideways, and then a small fish swims over and gets it. Absolutely. A Venustus is, and I think that's what you were looking for, a Venustus or a Fusco does the same thing. The living stone eye, they stay underneath the sand waiting. A red empress doesn't do that. An azurus doesn't do that. A sulfurhead doesn't do that. Are you following me? So what I'm saying is, this is not some marketing ploy. You can remove that from your brain at always thinking something is about making money, and then realizing that something is about actually what it's about. There are many books out there, and I prefer books that teach you about fish that are not owned specifically by a certain business. So if I get a book from Odd Konings and Cichlid Press, I know that this guy is serious about teaching you about said fish. That is kind of the key that I'm driving at. Just because I'm keeping Shelleys and I'm keeping Tropheus and Gobies doesn't mean you need to go keep those. You need to do you. If you do not have the space for predator haps, do not keep predator haps. Do not force yourself into this dismal way of trying to figure out what you think is popular just to be there. Don't just be there. And I'm going to give you this. I'm a little motivational. YouTube hasn't seen this side of me, but I want you to think about this. There is a Mountain Dew commercial, okay? And I'm going to relate this to my life, but there's a Mountain Dew commercial, and it's Russell Westbrook, and he's sitting down, and he's got 2 different color camos on. And if you've seen this video, hit like and share the crap out of this video. So, they said, you will not make it in the military. But I did. They said that I wouldn't settle down and have a family. But I did. They said that we would never have a child. But we did. Who is they? Who is they? Do you? I'm telling you, Mountain Dew killed it with this commercial, and everybody seems to miss it. The only thing they see is Russell Westbrook and triple doubles and Mountain Dew and gaming and being awesome. But what you fail to realize is you've missed the actual concept of what Mountain Dew was trying to say. Do you? Yes, I will be at ACA. A good hap to breed is any hap you want to breed. I'm telling you, fish breeding is exactly what you want it to be. You get the right size tank for those fish and do what fish you want to breed. Now, if you're a part of a co-op or if you're in it with somebody, then find out which hap will be good for what you've got going on, and that you're not going to sit on these haps for a long time. So you're going to kind of look for what is healthy, has some decent color, can gel well with other fish. You don't want to create the you don't want to breed the nastiest predator hap and try to sell them or get them into a tank with peacocks. That's not the way the hobby should work. So that's what I'm talking about with trends. And you may not agree, but that's the way it is. This person said, discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. But there is no failure. You should never fail. You should always learn. That's with any hobby. I've crashed 2 tanks in my entire hobby career, and I will not let those 2 tanks allow me to just give it all up. I use it as a learning experience to know that I will not do that again. I will not do that again. So, trends are what you make of it. You may jump in the aquatic lounge and you may say, hey, look, here's the deal. We see a lot of haps. We see a lot of peacocks. Maybe I should keep peacocks. But I'm keeping Mbuna, so I'll just go ahead and I'll sprinkle a little bit of a peacockaronius inside my Mbuna tank and we'll call it a day. But that's not what we're talking about. You need to do exactly what you want to do. And that's what I love about the hobby outside of social media. Yes, social media helps me with my business, absolutely. But when it comes to the actual fundamentals and foundation of what this hobby's about, each and every one of you that are not a part of an association or do not partake in your association, if you have the free time, are doing yourself an injustice. Now, there's going to be clicks and stuff in that, but when it comes down to it, they're actually about what we need to get back to. They're about the genetic lines, the strains, the quality fish, and keeping those fish, and if you're breeding them, reintroducing them like the CARES program. Because at some point, most of the fish that we keep, they're going to be on some list at some point. You know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and I don't necessarily know every fish. I'll be the first one to tell you that I don't understand fish keeping as a whole. I learn every day just like you. The only thing I'm really good at is talking. Yeah, but I enjoy it. I'm passionate about the hobby. I'm passionate about the people that are in it, and I don't want to see anybody fail without learning. So, Ronnie Moore, you're going to find good quality fish from various places. Go to your association meetings first, but there's various businesses out there that sell amazing fish. I got back into fish keeping after 10 years because of wanting to protect a species. Chris Fuller, that is simply amazing. I commend you. Blair, Sean, Zach, Jeff, what's going on, everybody? So, trends are only what you make of it. Fish Person Vlogs, I'm not going to talk about Pakistan. Yes, I have some great stories about Pakistan, but this isn't the forum. We can talk at some other point. Try some yum-yums and go the single barrel route. All cichlids are cool, but I really like the big ones. And that's you. Currently, I like the predatory instincts. I also like Tropheus. I'm really, really enjoying Lake Tanganyika. I've already said that. But you have to figure out what works for you. Just because I can keep a 220 in my office doesn't mean you can keep a 220 in your office or a bedroom. What we do from the influence of social media is crazy. We push relationships to boundaries. IFG, I'll get to that question in a moment. We push relationships, our financial stability, just so we can take a photo and post it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, whatever. Don't do that. If you want to keep fish, keep fish. For instance, I'm going to use Blair as an example. Blair is and he can hate on me all he wants. He is your hardcore supporter of things that he enjoys. He is rough around the edges, and he enjoys barbecuing at fish places. You're not going to get a Blair, the actual Blair. You're not going to get him here, virtually. You get Blair at the association meetings. Get there. ACA's coming up. Make that the first one you go to. ACA Convention 2017.com. I don't make anything from it. I don't care to make anything from it. I'm not getting a kickback. I'm paying, I'm donating, and I'm setting up a table just as if anybody else is, but I want you there. Because without you, we lose it all. It's a community. And so I kind of want you to start realizing that this is what it is all about. It's not about numbers and views and likes and shares. It's about getting quality information to the right people. I got a 125. What can I do with that? Well, I mean, you can do a lot with a 125. You can have a breeding group of haps. You can keep a few haps going at one time. That's probably the minimum size I would keep haps in. As far as predators, that's up to you. But you're not going to be able to keep the massive amounts of fish that you want to keep like we've come accustomed to. I got a 75. Let me cram that bad boy with 26 fish. And that's the trend. The trend is, oh, I've got a business. I'm going to go ahead and tell them that they can put in whatever the frick they want, my man. So you go in, you're like, excuse me, sir. I'd really like to keep Mbuna, flowerhorn, haps, some peacocks. And I noticed you have some betas. Can I keep those as well? And then you get the bad side of it, and they're like, heck yeah, you can do it. I'll get you bagged up real quick. Mark your fish, point them out. You want the colorful ones? I'll get you some really great food. It's amazing. It's holistic and organic. I've been using it for 37 and a half years and 27 minutes. It's the best thing that I've ever done. And you need to buy all these fish and put them in your 75-gallon. Not everybody's like that, but there's a lot of people like that. And if you're new to the hobby and you happen to fall right in that path of that trend, so to speak, you're gonna crash out a tank pretty hard. I mean, it's plain and simple. And then you get upset because you don't know what you've done wrong. Okay? You're too busy worried about a trend and what was right and what this person said was the coolest thing in the world, yet you did none of the research yourself and you crammed a tank with some just vast array of species. Your tank crashed, it bloomed, its ammonia spike, its nitrites are just all out of control. You can't seem to get your nitrates rocking because you can't get a cycle. You're pulling everything out to clean it. You're asking everybody under the sun what you should do, and you just put yourself in this constant vicious cycle. And then what happens? You get discouraged. You hate everything about the hobby. Nobody helped you. You had a freak incident. It was everything everybody said it wasn't. And you were upset because you got constructive criticism. So, take heed for the trends. Do you. Don't worry about them. Hap Nation's going to prevail. People are always going to keep predator haps. People are always going to keep betas. They're going to keep goldfish. They're going to keep koi out in a pond. They're going to keep African cichlids, discus, apistogramma, pencilfish, tetras. They're going to keep whatever they want. Geophagus, shellies, tropheus, gobies. There's always going to be something for someone. And you are that someone. So stop worrying about everyone else and focus in on the glass box that you're trying to have. Does that make sense? So now I want to talk about maintaining friendships in the hobby. Because if you own a business, and some can attest to this, and some can relate outside. You may be a manager or a boss or a line supervisor or a team lead or whatever. And so you're going to be able to relate to this. But I think people need to understand this. And I'm going to use very real examples. What is a good place to buy cichlids, please? Can somebody help Luke out on YouTube? Luke, there are very, very, very massive amounts of resources for you to get that information. And yes, I order from Southeast Cichlids. Yes, I order from Cunningham Cichlids. Yes, I've ordered from people in the past. Doesn't mean I don't like them anymore. So and that's what I'm going to talk about. So, and I'm going to use my relationship with Butch Livingston, my relationship with Josh Cunningham. Okay? I've developed relationships as I went. I enjoy it. And I try to help people out. And I do it because I want to. I want to create awareness that there are other things out there. There are other places to buy certain things. There are other places to get certain amazing things. Shoot, I ordered from Ms. Jinxed. I got Dragonstone in her book because I have this idea that I want to create this amazing tank and it hasn't happened yet. And I promoted her. Did she ask me? No. I do this because I want to. It's not always about a kickback, but that's the mentality that you folks have understood from social media. You got the, and I quote, and I'm going to use his, not outside of his trademark, but PewDiePie. He was trademarked for everything. Everything. He got kickbacks for a lot of the reviews he did. I don't get kickbacks for about 90% of the things I do. Do I get kickbacks? Yes, but that's not why I do them. I started it because I wanted to. I developed amazing relationships, and it turned into something that is simply amazing. Anybody can do it. You just have to stick with it. So social media has way too many sides. There's the dark side. You, my friend, don't keep fishing. No. It's a dark side. There's the side you see, and then there's the underbelly. You know, it's like it is the underbelly. And for folks on YouTube, I seem to not have this problem on Facebook. Folks on YouTube, keep everything related to aquatics. I mean, really. So understanding social media, having friendships, and having a business. I started out. My business was, it was starting, it was growing, and I was ordering from a lot of people. I did. I ordered from the Wonder of Cichlids, and that came about because of some information. They said, hey, man, he's got some amazing stuff. And I said, yeah, man, dude, Trevor's an awesome dude. I'll order from him. I just haven't had an opportunity to kind of get to that moment. And so I did. I ordered from him. Man, my wife did the video. She picked up the fish. It was big. And so now that I don't order from him, I don't like him. That's kind of the mentality a lot of people have around it. And it's like, no, Trevor knows that I don't have an issue with him. I don't. But people will develop that because they love to start the fires. They couldn't start the fire in real life to save a life, but they can start a fire socially because it makes them feel good about what they don't have. So then you've got, let's say, Quinn's Fins. Nobody mentions Quinn's Fins. That was the first person that I ordered from ever online. Ever. Quinn's Fins. Does anybody remember that? No, you don't, because I didn't have a relationship. I wasn't in the same realm as Quinn's Fins. I didn't associate or talk to them publicly because they were a business that didn't have that outlet. They didn't have that ability. Some people may, but I didn't. IFG remembers when I ordered from them. I remember saying clearly they had some great fish. They were a little bit smaller than what I thought I was getting. He actually gave me, or they gave me, an extra fish, which was awesome. I got a pen and a calendar, and it was packed very well. I had a big tank crash. That was one of my major crashes, and I learned from it. And I lost a lot of fish. I ordered from Cichlid Shack many times. Many times. I did videos of reviews of underwater, releasing them, than I did with anybody else. But I haven't ordered from the Cichlid Shack in a little bit, in a while. And so what is the first thing people automatically assume? That boy down there like the Cichlid Shack. I know it because he ain't buying them fish. I'm telling you, he doesn't like them. And you know what I'm going to tell? I'm going to tell the Cichlid Shack that he doesn't like them. Go ahead, man. I lay my head down at night perfectly fine. I've got the friends that I enjoy hanging around. I don't have time for that. And a lot of people know what I'm talking about. It goes with anything. Did you hear Sandra went out with him on Saturday? Did you ask Sandra? Because Sandra was actually at work. It's documented. But there's something in your mind that you want it. So I haven't ordered from the Cichlid Shack. So whoa, hey-o. He hates him. He doesn't like him. No, that's not the case at all. I actually talked to James. Doesn't mean I have to buy from James all of the time. Doesn't mean because I haven't bought from him, I don't like him. I've helped James on the phone before. I've sent people to James. But you didn't mention his name the last time somebody asked. Okay, shoot me. Smack me with a dead Buccochromis notatania straight across the glass jaw. So I didn't mention him. Come on, stop reading between these fake lines that don't exist. There's a lot of gray area, but you folks create a ton. And it's not you, I'm saying in general, because some of these people will see it and I don't know who they are. So I can't say names because I don't know who they are. So then it comes to, I've developed over time a relationship with Butch. He's actually become a friend outside of fish keeping. We don't just talk about fish. He's not just a fish friend. Okay? It's the same relationship that I have with Ben Dunn from Universal Rocks, and it's the same relationship I have with Evan IFG, with Josh Cunningham, with Maximus Aquatics. I talk to these folks outside of the fish realm, okay? So I have friends. Yes, I'm surprised I have friends, but hear this key. Just because they're my friend doesn't mean that I'm riding, okay? Because I order from Butch a lot. Shoot me. The dude can get exactly what I want. And no, I don't get it for free, for those that were wondering. I've gotten a 10% discount before because of the amount that I was ordering and because of the amount of people that I send back to him. But I don't get things for free. Okay? I don't think, matter of fact, I lied. I actually got a decal and a t-shirt from Butch for free. Yes, I did. So I apologize. I did lie. I said I didn't get anything from him for free. So just because Butch is my friend, I continue to promote him because that's what you do when you have a friend. You help them, you promote them, you move them. I don't talk to James outside of fish keeping. I don't talk to Trevor outside of fish keeping. Most of our relationship has been developed around the aquatic hobby. And I've helped them, I've promoted them, I've sent people their way. But people care so much about my relationships that their relationships suck. So I want you to understand that just because I promote somebody or I share something or I help them in a capacity to move their business forward, that doesn't mean that I don't like another person. If Blair was cooking barbecued pulled pork out of the slow cooker at ACA, and so was Rodney Page, and I went to Rodney Page to get some barbecue pork, doesn't mean I don't like Blair. And yes, Blair was cooking barbecue pork. So that's kind of the concept I want you to understand. It's like because you do this on a platform and you have a business and you have friends, like Blair is a guy that is with the aquatic support community. He is, I believe, co-chair of the MCA. He is very vested in the hobby. He is awesome. So that's who Blair is. He's on Facebook. I don't know if he has YouTube, but anyways, back to what I'm talking about. You can have friends, folks. Just because you don't say a name or you don't do something, don't assume. There's two things about assumptions. And it was... This is horrible. It was in Under Siege, and for those, I don't swear on camera, but I'm going to swear. The gentleman said, you assumed, right? It was an assumption. And I think it was Under Siege. They were on a train, and he said, assumption is the mother of all flip-ups. Assuming makes an ass out of you and me. That's what it does. So you put nothing else on it, but you're creating something that's not there. And it's much harder to get rid of something that's not there than to actually just leave it be and move on with your life. This ain't days of the hobby. This is having fun. So I just want you folks to understand that if I'm hanging out with Butch or I meet up with IFG and we have McDonald's together, doesn't mean that I'm hating on every single person that breeds fish or has a t-shirt thing going or a YouTube channel. I've talked to Miss Jinx before. Doesn't mean that she's going to turn around and completely, do everything that I want her to do and I'm going to get stuff for free and she's going to get stuff for free. That's not the way it works. When you develop business-friendly relationships, it's much easier to reach out to somebody and say, hey, look, I want to help you. I think you're an amazing person at what you do, and this is what I want to do for you. And I've done that. Doesn't mean I have to continue doing it. Luke, I've already done a live stream with Southeast Cichlids twice. So I just want you to understand that relationships in this hobby, when you have a business or a friend of yours has a business, it is very hard to divide the line of what is perceived and what is reality. So don't worry about relationships. Worry about on actually what's really going on with this. And it's a community. It's driving the community forward. And it's about showing up to the association meetings if you can meet them. And it's about developing these long-standing relationships that could morph into friendships. Because, folks, we suck at friendships as human beings because we're trapped in front of these. And so my hope is I can use this platform to help build a better fish keeping hobby. And not that it's not great, but it can get better. Anything can get better. And so we just need to keep pursuing that. Now, which leads me to fish keeping in general and the hobby. Now, you folks can ask questions ahead. Before I get to that, I'll actually, IFG asked a question. He said, are Petrochromis my next move in the hobby? Petrochromis. So if you don't know what they are, check them out. They're a much larger Tanganyika. Most of them are much longer, much more aggressive Lake Tanganyikan fish that are not kept often. There are pockets of people, tons of people keep them, but they're not as predominant in the hobby because of the sheer size that they can get and what they're doing. So to answer your question, IFG, is Petrochromis the next move I make? The answer is yes. I don't know when that move's going to happen. I really want to keep a strict tank of predator haps. I really want to learn more about Lake Tanganyika and Tropheus and the way they move and the way they exist, because if I can understand Tropheus and successfully keep Tropheus, then I think once I'm seasoned enough there, I'm capable of making the jump to Petrochromis, because it's a beast in itself. And folks, that is the way I do things. You can be back there going, I don't think that that's the best idea. I'm the type of guy that just says, fill it up, pour it in, and just Petrochromis yourself away, baby. And that's you. I actually do. I want to learn about the fish, get an understanding of their dietary needs, their habitual needs in terms of how they move, and can I keep anything else with them and things like that. So that is the understanding of how my brain works. I immediately jumped into African cichlids, and it was an amazing jump, but I didn't do it smartly. I did whatever I thought I could do, and that was, you can go back. I'm not the guy that's going to say, you need to keep only specific tanks, stop mixing them. Yeah, I don't recommend it anymore based upon how I learned in the hobby from direct contact with mixing lakes, mixing fish. It's something that I've learned. It's not something I read or I'm following because somebody else does it. I'm simply telling you I've done it, and it's not the best of ideas. Can it be done? Anything can be done. You can leave a dog with a tiger in a cage. Anything can be done. Doesn't necessarily make it right, and doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best thing to do for you, the fish, and your pocket. You can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't bother me. I don't cringe when I see it. Because it's like Cichlid Addict. He's like, well, I do it, and it's okay. It is okay. I don't care what Cichlid Addict keeps in his tank, but if I'm going to stay true with exactly what I'm doing, then I can't tell you that it's 100% the best thing to do. I didn't say it couldn't be done. I didn't say you shouldn't do it. Only you can prevent mixing tanks. No, that's not what this is about. I am about promoting quality knowledge to increase your value in the hobby and to keep an amazing tank. Most people you will get will mix tanks and they'll say, golly, man, I'm having the biggest time of my life, and I've been keeping these African cichlids, and they're killing each other, and, it's killing me here. I'm losing money off the wazoo. And it's like, okay, well, what are you doing? I keep the Mbuna, I keep the peacocks, and I'm keeping some Hablatrons, and my wife really likes this Texas cichlid. So if I can handle that in one statement, you need to get some different tanks. I can tell you this by reality, not by research, but by reality. And I have currently right now 5 tanks. But reality-wise, when I took the peacocks out of my Hap and Peacock tank, which, yeah, you could say it's mixing, my aggression levels went down. When I started to move more predators in so that all of the fish were kind of the same size, my aggression went down. I haven't lost a fish to aggression in a hot minute. And most people that keep African cichlids understand that aggression is a constant mainstay. And you can curve it, but you can't control it. So you've got to figure out ways to combat it. And I think I figured out the way. I did. So Michael, what's going on? Akeem, what's up? So outside of that, Petrochromis will be my next step. Get yourself some books by Odd Konings. I mean, there's books out there from people that actually have food businesses, that actually sell fish. And so some of the fish, they don't even know what they are. They're just putting them in a book and hoping for the best. I'm telling you, this exists. They are on a massive scale, and they sell fish as said fish. So they're selling a J. Wilson Alago as a Evan Alexander Acromis. And then you get it, and it's something completely different. This actually happens. Folks, this is coming from, wholesalers, or as they say on the streets, suppliers. This happens. And so that's why I'm telling you to do your own research, because you won't be duped when you walk into a local fish store. And like I said, local fish stores are amazing. I encourage you to get there first. But when you get in there, they can't know everything about everything because, well, they have a lot of stuff they have to maintain. So if they're bringing in I don't even know. Let's say they're bringing in a ruby red peacock. They're going to tell you it's from Lake Malawi. That fish doesn't exist in Lake Malawi. And we don't know the exact name of it, so we're going to call it, you know what? We're going to call it a fire red peacock. And then there we go. The names spiral out of control. And then we get defensive. So I'm going to run right into what I want to talk about in order to keep fish keeping where it needs to be. Fish were given a name by people that actually found them for a reason. It's not like, well, I call myself Jay, Jason, Jace, Fred, Alfredo, Jonathan, Jeremiah, Darius, Guadalupe. I don't have that many names. There's your actual name, Jason, and then there's my common name, Jay. Make sense? So what I'm finding in the hobby, and this is everywhere, I'm talking continent, state, city, region, it does not matter. Things are being created that should not be created, because this is what it does wrong. And I'll give you an example, and then I'll give you the perception of what most people will say that are for it, and then I'll give you the reality of actual thinking forward into time. Yes, thinking forward into time. So here's the deal. You walk into your local fish store. The person's been in business 15 years. They're amazing. You've been going to them for the last 7 years. You've been bugging them like crazy to get some African cichlids in so that you can keep them, or to get your favorite fish in because you cannot seem to find them but online. And online is not for you. It's not going to be for everybody. So they do. They get in this massive shipment, okay? 15 cents, 20 cents, $3 a fish. I know this to be fact that this does exist. I'm talking dollars, like $2, $3 for a fish. And this fish is completely hormoned like a son of a gun, or is actually the species that it's supposed to be. And this hardworking small business person just grinds every day. They're tired, and they got 5 boxes of fish that they really don't know much about. They're only bringing them in because they felt like it was something good for their business and their family. If they're into fish, it'll be completely different. But I'm talking about your local fish store as a whole. Okay, I'm not talking about the guys like Dave Hale that's been in the game for 25 plus years. I'm not talking about those physical stores. I'm talking about the guys and girls that just have a shop for the last 15 years and they're just trying to keep up. So this person's tired out of their mind. They get all these fish out. They didn't really look at the bags. They're trying to acclimate. Stuff's getting dumped everywhere. Before you know it, you got everything and everything with each other, and they don't know what the heck is what, okay? So in order to make it seem like they're okay at what they do, they create a name. And I'm telling you, I have physically seen a hap, an electric blue, fryer eye, whatever you want to call it, was labeled blue and white fish. Okay? So then you post it on Facebook, you post it on Instagram, and you say, can I get an ID, please? Can I get an ID? The Blue Falcon Ranger peacock. Okay, there we go. IFG, the Blue Falcon Ranger peacock. And people come out of the woodwork and they're like, well, it's this fish. It's a Swedish fish. It's a one fish, two fish. It's an Alenakara stugarte. It's a Azurus. It's a Firecrest. It's all over the place. But if it would have been labeled properly when it came in from the people that were actually distributing these fish, it would have been much easier for the local fish store to understand, label it properly, and sell it. Now, some legitimately are out just to make up names. I had a fish store that I would frequent that literally got firefish in that were more whitish with some deep specks of pink and a little bit of orange. It was kind of that morph of orange to pink with a lot of white and it was speckled, and majority of them had it. This dude labeled them as orange, pink, dotty back cichlids. Okay? And they sold out, hear me, they sold out in a day. A day. They sold out of the orange, pink, dotty back cichlid in a day. And now out of those 16 fish that went out, all 16 of those people now think that there is an orange, pink, dotty back cichlid in the wild that is everywhere and that people need this. They are what is ruining the hobby as a whole. You have to have some sort of understanding of its original roots, and I'll get there. I apologize if this isn't something that you're interested in, but it's something I need to say because it does bother me. I was the one when I first started that would walk in and pick up that orange pink dotty back, which I did not get one, and go back home and say, yeah, yes, I got an orange dotty back cichlid and ain't no one got one. Man, this fish don't even exist, dude. That is a firefish. It is a morph of a firefish that just happened. Orange, pink, dotty back. Get out of here with that, man. Get out of here. So now we continuously do this. We just start creating stuff. Okay? Creating stuff. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm talking about the situation as a whole. IFG, thanks for deleting that comment. I'm talking about it as a whole. Okay, and I'm not talking about line-bred fish because that's a completely different subject. Line-bred fish like the Turkis, it's bred out between two fish, made it together, and then they wait. Okay, they're looking for a specific thing and they wait. They're not just like, whoop, go, whoop, go, whoop, go, whoop, go. Now you've got 7 different variations of what you thought was going to be the greatest selling fish of all time. And it may look great. It may look amazing. But that's not the point. That's not the point. The fish has a realistic name. For instance, you're not going to find the ruby resin or the German red peacock out in the wild. Okay, it's a line-bred fish. Now it's designed specifically to get those traits. So now every fish that has a little bit of red in it, people go, check out my German red peacock. Got them for $6.99. It's sick. No, I'm sorry, that's not. It kind of looks like a red flush, but it definitely is not a red flush because it should have this. Like, you shut up, I didn't ask you. Okay? My fish store told me that this was a German red, and I got myself a German red. Don't try to bring me down. I mean, nobody's trying to bring you down. It's constructive criticism. If we didn't tell you that it was wrong, you would continue to just vomit false information, and false information grows and it steamrolls. And before you know it, dudes is just like, hell yeah, I got myself a $75 German red peacock. And you're bragging. Come on, man. Stop with it. Somebody asked how much those orange dotty back, the orange pink dotty back cichlids were. They were $45. I watched a non-Banga Sunshine. It was not full. I mean, this had a mix of something in it. $220 because of the size. This is what I'm talking about. We're creating, and they called it an electric Sunshine Banga. Folks, there's no such thing. Now, do fish's names change over the course of time? Absolutely, because the folks that actually are like super passionate, way more passionate than what I could ever be. And I'm talking about the folks that go to the lake. I'm talking about the Odds and the Larrys and the Pam Chins. And if I miss you, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about the one and done Lakers. I'm talking about the actual all the time. Okay? And they may notice that a trait from this collection point or this point within the lake is completely different than the other side. So they've got to figure out, do we remove that fish from the genius and move them to a new one? And it happens. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, we've created a peacock like this and we've turned it into the ala oak tree Costerachromis. And it was simply a Compressiceps and a German red together. The Cichlid Addict on YouTube has done everything, man. He keeps every fish together. He's been to the lake. That's awesome. I'm talking about Lake Malawi, Lake Tanganyika, the Victorian Basin, and the surrounding areas. I'm not talking about your local lake or Lake Erie. So, the process is understand what your fish are. I've got Malawi cichlids in their natural habitat 5th edition, Tanganyika cichlids in their natural habitat 3rd edition, and then I have a Tropheus book, and then I also have a Tetra book, and I'm registered to get the Cichlid magazine once a month. And folks, that's where I understand these fish. There are fish that I didn't know existed that I've just learned about a couple months ago. They're not man-made fish. We have to stop just being attracted. Color's okay, because that's what folks, when you see it, we get crazy names. It's like Jolly Rancher, or whatever the case is, and that's okay, because maybe it's a controlled thing and they're only selling to a few people and they're telling them, hey, this is a hybrid. But when you start creating, there is a Cichlid magazine, hold on, it's called Cichlid News. This is backwards, and I apologize because it's my front-facing camera, but Cichlid News is, and it's not just Africans, folks. It's everything in the Cichlidae genius, okay? Everything. Amazing articles. It's great. It's just simply awesome. But anyways, so that's fine, all and dandy. But where the issue writes is, we've now created a false fish to somebody that may not know that that's a false fish, and then it continues to spiral out of control. And then when it does it, they feel bad enough to say, well, I don't care, he's beautiful. I'm telling you, my Jolly Rancher green apple, he is beautiful. I spent $35 on him and I would do it again in a heartbeat. Matter of fact, he's breeding with my yellow lab. And I'm just going to see what turns out. Now that's okay, but when you realize you have no more space for these fish, then what do? You try to get rid of them. You post them for sale, and people are buying these fish thinking that that's an actual species. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you see it? Just because somebody tells you a fish, if I was buying fish from Butch and I was supposed to get a Buccochromis notitania, and he sent me a Copetochromis azuris, I'm going to tell him. And you should, because you're checking where you're getting it from. And maybe, just maybe, they didn't know, and they learned something. And so now you can continue from buying from them still, but together you've learned something that you didn't understand. But when you continually to make these random fish, the easy side of it is to say, yes, it sells, people like it, it's colorful, it enhances your tank, you prefer the Jolly Rancher watermelon strain, whatever. But when it comes down to it, the hobby itself, you are so nearsighted that you are not worried about. You can give two craps, because I can tell you right now, I can ask probably about 15 African cichlid breeders, suppliers, retailers, wholesalers, whatever. Do you know some fish that are on the CARES list, or do you understand that certain collection points are no more and fish don't exist there anymore, and it's becoming increasingly harder to get actual wild caught fish so that we can continue the population of the actual strain? And if this together collapses completely, we fail as hobbyists to continue the genuine purpose of what we thought we were doing, instead of just having this selfish need for something colorful in a glass box that we like to keep and turn a light on and throw food in every day. You're forgetting the long run. I am passionate about this, and I don't care what the thought process is behind it. I'm telling you, it is a nearsighted mistake that we are making as hobbyists. I don't care if you're a purist. I don't care if you like hybrids. I like OBs. I like, if you want to call, well, I'll tell you right now, you've just got it backwards, Mr. Wilson, okay? Because line redfish are freaking, they're hybrids as well. I don't care what your thought process is. I'm telling you, the concept of what we are doing is going to destroy the hobby at some point. Now, there are people out there that vigilantly, and I'm going to mention names, they are vigilantly attacking the CARES list. Super Cichlids is an amazing person when it comes to the CARES list. Most of the fish that she's starting to get, Lisa Hober, is back to the CARES list. You can't knock that. You can't knock that. You've got people that you never would have thought would have attacked the CARES list. You've got the NECA, the New England Cichlid Association, that is constantly pushing the CARES list. The MCA pushes the CARES list. You've got pockets of people like Pam Chim that understand, not Chin, or Chin, are focusing in on lakes and what they do. And Odd Konings that's running research out of Penn State. Folks, you don't understand this. So when somebody tells me, I ain't in it just for the money, I'm telling you, you can't sit in front of a camera and review a filter and talk about a background and talk about a new tank build, and you have no idea the way the hobby moves behind you because you're so conceited about what you do for others that you don't worry about the things that are actually getting you there, the fish. I'm talking about donating, going out and researching and learning and promoting good husbandry and hobby knowledge and passing it on, because your business will never be more valuable if you don't have knowledge. You can peddle as many freaking made up fish as you want, but you will never become the actual pinnacle of local fish store, of online fish keeping, of YouTube channel, of Facebook frontier, if you do not understand the hobby as a whole. Because you've got people coming up behind you that are more concerned about the dopamine effect, about it looks good, makes me feel good. Oh, hey, girl, what's up? This fish makes me feel, oh, nice. Yeah, that's great. But that fish, in the long run, and I'm sorry, I'm super passionate. In the long run, no, my blood pressure's good. In the long run, that fish is actually doing more detriment than it is to you, because if the hobby is as good as what you claim it to be, if it was no more, would you be as sad? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Fire Marshal Bell! So you have to heed those words. I don't care if you don't like my channel. I don't care if you don't like what I do in the aquatic lounge or my business. You can order from anybody. I do not care. But I'm not going to change a mission in what I know to be real. Real. When you talk about the Stuart Grant Foundation and the location that they have in Lake Malawi, does anybody realize that that place is crumbling? It was the pinnacle of research and help of reintroducing fish. Go research the actual Seleucii, not the Alanakara, but the actual Seleucii that was supposed to be reintroduced to the lake. Do you realize if they don't have enough money to help, you've got people that just need money that start to release fish in wrong parts of the lake? and you're ruining the natural habitat. And people will say, well, pollution, gases, and global warming. Okay, the earth is on a cycle, folks. We do nothing to help it, but we can't stop it. The only thing we can do is be sighted and smarted enough to understand that if we enjoy what we do so much, then put your mouth where you're spatting information from. Not your money where your mouth is, because sometimes money isn't just what is needed to propel something forward. It's real knowledge, it's passion, it's heart, it's sometimes commitment, and it sounds cheesy, but courage as well. Anybody can throw up some freaking tanks in their garage. Not saying that it's easy. Anybody can throw up tanks in their garage, mix a ton of fish, create fish, name them, and send them back out into the wild. But think about the way an Odd Konings feels. Think about the way those people, or Stuart Grant, feel when they create the actual names when they first initially made contact with these fish, and they're getting ran through the mud. Just saying. So, I'm curious to see what you think. I don't care how harsh you are. Put it in the comments. Do me a favor and not swear. Some people, this is what you'll get.
The hobby is for me because it makes me feel good inside.
Okay? So that's the person that's going to do whatever makes them feel good. It doesn't matter if they're fish keeping, they have a dog, they have a cat. Whatever makes them feel good is that's what they're going to do. And then you have the people that will front. They will be like, check it out, bruh. Got a brand new book, okay? Was totally reading it last night. Totally killing it, okay? And totally am a better fish keeper for it, bruh. And, when I think about it, I think that the collection point for my London Bridge peacock is amazing, and I think everybody should have this fish in their tank because it should be a staple, bruh. Okay, yeah, you're saying that you're studying, but you realize that you've just created wrong knowledge. And then when they get checked or constructive criticized, I don't know if that was Keanu Reeves. When they get constructive criticized, what do they say? Hey, bro, why don't you step off, bro? Okay? You don't know me. You don't know me. I stay in here, bro. Why don't you come at me, bro? Come at me, bro. Hide your kids. Hide your wife, bro. I mean, why? Why did it get from that to that? You simply said something that wasn't factual. Somebody gave you facts, and you just blew up. Bro, I don't need this, okay? I'm just trying to show my awesome freaking specimens, right? I work hard breeding, bro. Okay? You don't know me. You don't know anything about me, bro. But it had nothing to do with you, man. It had to do with your action, okay? And they were actually helping you more than what you saw, but somebody actually told you something, and somebody said you were wrong. So that is your issue. That is not the person who checked you and said, look, man, that fish doesn't exist, bro. Sorry. I don't need to take this. I'm blocking everything about you, bro. Delete. You know what? I don't need them. Boom, blocked. Heck yeah, victory for me. No, yeah, victory for you, bud, but you just gone and screwed up the hobby 10 years from now because somebody's going to be talking about that fish that never existed in the lake that you kept saying was in the lake, and they couldn't find any information, but you had been in the hobby for a long time, or you seem to be a person that people went to, and now all of a sudden, it's a thing. It's factual based because it was somebody they knew. I can tell you right now, out of the 5 years that I've been doing YouTube and keeping African cichlids, that there have been some times that I was wrong. A lot. Granted, the stuff that I put out was more factual and research than some of the other things. But sometimes I got specifications wrong, the names wrong, collection points wrong. Sometimes it happens, but I'm able to correct myself because I know exactly what I want to do. I'm not here to get views, likes, shares, dislikes, and money from views. I'm not here to be the cool dude. I'm here to actually help. Okay? Where I came from in the military, I helped. And when it was taken away from me, I didn't have the same meaning. And when I'm not able to help, and I'm not able to help something move forward, It's not happening. I'm sorry. I appreciate that you want to tip me. I will never take money off of a live video on YouTube ever. It's not about me. It's about giving you information that you need. The only thing you can do that would be amazing is to share it, support, and learn. If you do that, I don't need any money. I don't need any money. Matter of fact, I'm pissed at Facebook because they used to allow me from my phone to utilize donations to go direct to a charity. We started with the Susan G. Komen Foundation. We were working on the Wildlife Foundation and it completely fell out. Facebook, you'll never see this, but bring that ish back. So folks, this has ran longer than most of my live videos. I think it was cool to see people on the YouTube side and people on the Facebook side. I noticed that people on the YouTube side have a wilder mouth and they talk about random things. Facebook hasn't said much. A lot of people are joining, which is amazing. But here's the deal. If you are in this hobby, you have a business, you breed, you do it for fun, you do it because it helps save your marriage, or you do it because it helps save a relationship with a child, or it helped you develop a relationship with a child. Whatever it is that you're here for, make it a positive impact. Don't spit mindless, unfactual, opinionated garbage from your turd trap hole, and you will do more justice for this hobby than what you will ever see. I don't care if you get fish from A, B, C, D, or you buy food from B, C, D, F. It does not matter. What matters is you're, one, doing something that you're passionate about. Two, you will own every mistake that you make. You will not fail and you will learn. And three, you will develop relationships outside of fish keeping because as a human being, we are communal mammals and we need that in life. And if we have more of that, more of these random sicknesses and diseases will start going away. I'm not here to tell you there's a fix for anything. What I'm telling you is if you take small steps, you don't blame others for what you fail to do, no drive, no gusto. To me, there's no hustle. Hustling is cheating. Okay, you're hustling to get stuff done. You're not doing it the right way. It's grinding. If you are grinding every day at what you do and you utilize fish keeping as your de-stressor, I commend you. I utilized it to help me with depression, anxiety, PTSD, and a separation from something that I absolutely loved. And the people around me in the beginning, the Dolly VH, the Mr. Honey to You, the Cyber Aquarius, the Watching the King of DIY, developing relationships throughout that and then building even bigger relationships actually helped me develop knowledge for the hobby and want to do what I'm doing. So stop doing something because everybody else is doing it, and just because somebody has a ton of followers on Facebook or a crap ton of subscribers or just doing whatever they're doing just to get the dopamine effect of, oh heck yeah, man, I got them 3,000 views. Did you see them peeps checking me out? Dude, they get off the camera and they're like, oh, I told them they can keep 700 fish in an 80-gallon tank. Why? You're a turd. Do it because you enjoy it. Just don't do it because YouTube gets you a kickback. I don't give numbers, but I'll tell you this straight up. The amount of work I put into YouTube, the amount of work I put into social media itself. I don't make money off of Facebook Live. I don't make money off the Aquatic Lounge. I definitely do not make millions or tens of thousands of dollars off of anything that I'm doing. Okay? And it's not about the money. If money happens to start showing up, amazing. It is a residual effect of something that I enjoyed. And that's what we're losing in the fish keeping hobby, especially on YouTube. I've lost a lot of touch with YouTube as a whole because it became a grind to watch people do what they're doing because it's not for the betterment of anything but themselves. They're very, very selfish. And it's just everybody in general. It's YouTube as a whole. And so I make the amount of time I put in social media wise. I think the last check that I got was $187. I don't share numbers, but you know what? I said, figure what the heck, I'm already 10 minutes over. It was under $200. And what do I do with the money? I invested back into something. I've donated to the Stewart Grant Foundation. Money. Real tangible money, like a lot of money. Not because I'm rich, because I'm not rich. I work hard for everything that I've ever earned. Nothing's giving to me. The world doesn't owe me anything. I'm out there grinding to get it. Okay? It's the same thing with fish keeping. I'm telling you, be true to who you are and forget all of the other bullshit. Okay? First time I think I've ever sworn on YouTube. BS. Forget it all. People are going to do it. They're going to create a random beef with somebody, and it's silly, it's childish. And people will say the dumbest things to get attention. That's okay. So folks, moral of the story is continue driving the hobby forward. Be at the ACA. I do not care. Be at the freaking ACA. I want to see you there. I've got a ton of stuff to give away. I'm going to try out this virtual store. It's going to be something amazing. If you're a YouTube follower and you don't know much about anything else that I do outside of YouTube, let's talk. I've met a ton of people from YouTube at these, and I've only been to 2. And I've developed an amazing amount of relationships. Come hang out. Let's grab a beer. We're going to throw a small party. It's kind of a get-together. I'll buy a bunch of beer and chips and whatever you folks want in relation to what we're doing. So, cheapo beer. I'm not buying you top shelf lagers and dark. And we're not getting all that. We're getting cases of beer. We'll get it in there, maybe a keg. And we'll have a good time. We'll share some stories. We'll talk about fish. We'll get to know each other. And I don't know what room it's going to be in. Josh Cunningham said we can use his, but I want to hold off on that just in case there's a bigger room because Josh is running it. So get to the ACA Convention 2017.com. Rooms are going away. Okay? Get on it. If you don't get your room, you're going to suck. I sucked at the first ACA in Cincinnati, and it sucked. Be real. Show up, see what the hobby's really like outside of Facebook groups, social media enterprises, and this private messaging of gossip. Get out of it. See what real fish keeping is about. See what auctions are about. See what people sponsoring and donating and getting excited and show fish. Yes, people show fish and they get awarded for it because they are the actual strain. Stop ruining the hobby in any way, shape, or form. If you don't like something, you don't like it, move on. Enjoy what you do. Love fish keeping. Check out anybody that sells fish. Check out anything. I like to be real. We're going to keep this going. I think this double little YouTube, Facebook thing was awesome. It's easy to look at. It's easy to see what's going on. And 15,000 subscribers doesn't mean anything to me. But it actually means something to you because it's a milestone at you folks sharing, liking, and being with me every step of the way. So I reward for that because it's something that most people don't stick with. So there is going to be a contest at 15,000. I don't know what it is, and it's hard to top some of the things that I've done in the past, but we're going to do our best to do that. And I'll tell you right now, if you think contests are what's gotten me where I'm at, note to self, everyone, check out the views on the contest videos. They're the least liked, least viewed videos that I do. I don't do them for me. I do them because I want to do something for this, for you taking time out of your day. So folks, do I like Fifth Harmony? Yeah, it's a great acapella. Fifth Harmony acapella band. I think they sang whatever. Yeah, they're good. Fifth Harmony, I think. I don't know. Outside of that, no, I have no idea. Folks, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking, disliking. I don't even know if you can dislike this. Sharing, doing whatever you're doing to help keep this hobby revolving, propelling, and doing what you do. It's amazing. For those of you that are struggling, I'm here. That's what I'm talking about. I'm here if you need to talk about something or get something off your chest. But remember, I never said I didn't like you until I said I didn't like you. Public service announcement brought to you in part by Northfin USA. Northfin USA, where you get all of your quality fish needs delivered to your door in an expedited time. You know what's next. Holla!